Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining DataRobot's Spring 25 launch customer webinar. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. In the meantime, sit back and relax. Hi there. If you just joined, we're going to get started in just a moment. Hello, everyone. Welcome to DataRobot's Spring 25 launch. This webinar is specifically dedicated to our customers. For those of you that are customers, we are going to share what's coming in our 11.0 release, which just came out late last night. And for prospects, you get to see all the exciting new features and capabilities that are in DataRobot. A few housekeeping things. The webinar is being recorded. You can watch it on demand afterwards, and it will be shared with you. We are going to be answering questions live, so please do put your questions in the chat. We are hoping that this will be interactive throughout the session today. For our agenda, we're going to spend the first 15 minutes on our innovations for Agentic AI, as well as some partnerships. Then we will move into new app templates for predictive and Agentic AI. That'll take us to about halfway through the webinar. We'll spend the remaining time specifically on our platform updates for delivering, developing, and governing AI. And we'll close it out with a few items to wrap up. On the call today, we have several members of the marketing team. For our speakers, we have Ezra Berger. He's one of our senior product marketing managers. We have May Massound. She's our technical product marketing manager, and myself. And on our product team, we have several folks that will be doing demos. We have Vivek Rohilla. He's our principal platform technical product manager. Abdo Mahmoud, who is our senior product manager, and Kathy Bazenko, who's our senior product manager. We have additional members of the product management team on the call as well to answer your questions. So like I said, please do put them in the chat. All right, and to get us started, I'm going to pass it over to May.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, this is a great place to start. I want to start with the most exciting innovation. So here's what's new to support Agentic AI. You know, agents are here. Many of you are already incorporating or planning to leverage agents and Agentic apps. And we're here to ensure that you have all the tools and all the recipes you need for that. And there are two really exciting pieces of news that I want to share here with you. Let's start with the first one, Covalent. As you may have heard earlier this year, DataRobot acquired Agnostic, known for Covalent, which is an open source distributed computing platform. Well, Covalent is now a part of DataRobot technology, and it will be powering some generative AI and agentic scenarios for you. So let's talk about how. You can think of Covalent as an orchestrator of orchestrators. It's basically a compute orchestration framework that lets you dynamically scale AI workloads across any infrastructure. Essentially, it's freeing you of the complexities of manual resource management and any DevOps hassles. All you as a user would do is you would define your compute needs directly within a Python code, and Covalent would handle the rest, the DevOps, containerization, clustering, provisioning, scheduling automatically. So for AI developers, what does that do for you? Well, like I said, it frees you of manual provisioning and it optimizes compute utilization. So making sure that your resources are allocated efficiently in real time. And one of the most exciting capabilities for developers is the ability to fine-tune LLMs within DataRobot notebooks. So now you have an easy way to adapt LLMs to your unique business needs and use cases and customize using your own data. And as you know, fine-tuning is complex, it's compute hungry, and now we've made it simpler, we've made it more efficient. Now, beyond fine-tuning, Covalent helps you manage infrastructure and compute costs with serverless execution and real-time monitoring of your compute usage. So it's handling cost efficiency while maintaining your performance. And finally, you have access to pre-built customizable blueprints for your common AI workflows. So think of LLM inference scheduling, model serving scenarios, and many other real-time agentic AI workflows. Let's talk about our second piece of news, NVIDIA. DataRobot is now fully integrated and embedded with NVIDIA AI Enterprise. What that means is you have access to a validated AI stack with all the GPU accelerated tools and building blocks that you would need to accelerate your agentic AI development and deployment. DataRobot now has a built-in NVIDIA NIM gallery. NVIDIA NIM are prepackaged microservice containers. They come with pre-tuned open source models. These open source models are optimized to run on NVIDIA GPUs. They provide you easy access to high performance open source models without any extra manual setup needed. And when it's time to deploy your app, NVIDIA NIM containers include prepackaged microservices that allow you to deploy anywhere with no configuration necessary. So by launching NVIDIA NIM in DataRobot, we're simplifying not just infrastructure and deployment complexities, but also beyond deployment. DataRobot's end-to-end monitoring and governance can actively and automatically scan for vulnerabilities, enforcing compliance and security and giving you that full enterprise support alongside NVIDIA. So overall, this lets you reduce cycles in development, deployment, and management of even your really complex agentic AI apps. And by the way, this holds true regardless of where you're deployed. You have hyperscaler grade ease of use in cloud, in hybrid environments, self-managed on-prem, including completely air-gapped environments. And when you have these deployed, you can leverage them to power your agentic AI apps. And we're going to show you in a demo shortly that you can simply open the gallery, you select a NIM and deploy. And then you can get started with DataRobot AI apps like Talk to Your Data or RAG and quickly customize them to leverage NVIDIA NIM. You can also deploy NVIDIA re-ranking and embedding models through the same gallery to optimize vector database performance. And finally, for security, the NVIDIA NeMo guardrails are included in our guard library. So they're giving you GPU accelerated protection for your AI apps. So let our product manager, Abdo, demonstrate that scenario for you.
That's great. So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to deploy 40 plus NVIDIA inference containers in DataRobot without a lot of manual setup. So the first thing I'm going to do is navigate to the gallery and load the NIM gallery from our model registry. Once in the gallery, I can see all the different NIMs that are available. As I mentioned, the gallery includes foundational LLMs, embedding models, re-rankers, and more. Let's say I want to deploy a Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter model. Just simply can search for that and click open. Each NIM comes with a model card that shows you things like model description, benchmarks, intended use, and hardware and software details. Next, I'm going to import that NIM into the model registry. You see that everything is already pre-filled. DataRobot even automatically recommends minimum hardware configuration to use to avoid pre-allocation of resources. Once in the registry, DataRobot will package everything together that you need to create an endpoint out of that NIM. Once the package is ready, you can just simply click deploy. NIM containers can be deployed to DataRobot serverless compute. So the next thing I'm going to do is choose a prediction environment to deploy to from my prediction environments. Then I can just simply click deploy to create the deployment, and that will start the container in DataRobot. The deployment goes through several phases, creation phases, starting with the launching phase. So now I'm going to click onto the deployment to see its details. You can click into the predictions tab and then onto the prediction API. You'll see a code snippet that you can use either in your IDE or app to talk directly to your deployment. And that's it. That's how easy it is to select, register, and deploy a NIM in DataRobot. Back to you, Maddie.
All right. Thank you so much, May and Abdo. We have gotten a couple of questions. So the first one, I got a question around, will we be sharing the materials from today's webinar? Yes, we will. They will be shared afterwards with everyone that has registered, whether they're here live or they look at the recording later. All right, I see one other question that we've gotten. In which version of DataRobot are these features available, and is there an additional license cost? That's a great question. This is all available in our 11.0 release. There are some things that require generative AI, and we are going to walk through some of those capabilities today, which may be an additional cost. All right, we got one other additional question here. What is NIM? Abdo, can you answer that question?
Yes, I can. So NIMs are NVIDIA inference microservices. These are, you can think of them as foundational models that were optimized by the NVIDIA team to run on NVIDIA hardware. They come with pre-packaged instructions on how to run on optimized inference frameworks.
Thank you. All right, Vivek, we've gotten one other question. How does Covalent help in accelerating my generative AI journey?
Yes, I can answer that question. Covalent is an orchestrator of orchestrators. The way to think about Covalent is that it can accelerate your AI journey by targeting specific agentic AI workloads. For example, it can help you build RAG pipelines, it can help you build image generation service, and many other workflows. So it comes with support for fine-tuning, large language model hosting, as well as application blueprints. And these are the key building blocks or tools that can help you accelerate your AI journey.
Love this. Thank you, Vivek. All right, one additional question before we move on to the next section. We have a question on to train a LLM and deploy in DataRobot. Is there an additional feature that needs to be enabled? Abdo, can you answer that question? Or maybe Vivek, I see Vivek typing.
Back to you on me. Okay. So you can use our Covalent capability to train a model in DataRobot. Once that model is available, or more specifically, fine-tune a model, an LLM model, an LLM in DataRobot, using something like Covalent, for instance. Once that is ready, you can just put it in the registry and then deploy it to an endpoint.
I can add to that. This is basically a GenAI feature So this is generative AI feature. It is part of our generative AI package. And once you have the generative AI package, you can use Covalent to fine-tune models and bring those models over to DataRobot.
Thank you both. Okay, one extra question and then we will move on. As an existing customer of NVIDIA Enterprise AI, how can my entitlement license be enabled on DataRobot to leverage NIMs? Abdo, can you answer that one?
Yes, of course. So you can simply work with our team to provision the NGC keys or NGC API keys into DataRobot, and then that will allow you to access the NIM containers in DataRobot.
All right, thank you so much. In the interest of time, we're going to move to the next section, but we'll continue to answer questions as we go. All right.
Alrighty, hi everyone. So this first section I'm going to go through are the new predictive and agentic app templates. So you can see on the next slide, we have 3 new app templates that we're going to go over today. The first is Talk to My Data is a foundational Gen AI app, and the other 2 are business apps that combine with your existing business applications to provide predictive powered insights. So starting with Talk to My Data on the next slide. So in order to make data-driven decisions, business leaders need highly actionable insights. These insights, unfortunately, take a lot of effort to prepare, and yet don't usually fully satisfy business decision makers, leading to additional ad hoc requests and more iterations for data teams to work on. To solve this problem, we have introduced a new foundational AI app that we like to call Talk to My Data. It's out of the box. This is a self-service interface that connects your non-technical business stakeholders with all of your company's data. The app can seamlessly connect to a wide range of data sources, like systems of record like Snowflake, BigQuery, DataRobot AI Catalog, to files sitting in your local hard drive. Users can ask any question about the data in natural language and get insights, data visualizations, and verbal summaries as a response. So each of these responses comes with underlying SQL code that the app used to query the database in the first place, enabling verification of what's happening under the hood. The aspect of Talk to My Data that is most exciting is its potential to be used as an agentic application. So out of the box, you can already call and analyze multiple tables at once. With minimal customization, you can connect and call other AI tools that are deployed in DataRobot and turn the app into a simple agent. What's also important to keep in mind is that Talk to My Data is the first step in our suite of foundational apps in the platform and will be followed by Talk to My Docs and Talk to My Video in the near future. So on the next slide, we're going to go through a quick demo. All right, so we're going to go through a quick demo now. The first thing I'm going to demonstrate is how to connect your data. You can see on the left-hand side, I'm adding quite a number of Snowflake tables. What's kind of cool about this is that you can see right now, you can actually just explore the data tables on your own. We also have this neat little area where you can actually understand what's in the data tables by understanding sort of how the columns work. So I'm going to get to the main attraction now, which is I'm going to ask a question about the data. In this case, I'm sort of asking which of our sort of loan applicants are probably likely to default. You can see how the app spits out quite a number of different assets, like data tables, charts, insights, as well as sort of a detailed generated AI summary. So from here, I can either dive into the analysis, there's quite a lot to go through, or I can ask a follow-up question. So that's all for now. The Talk to My Data is available in the in the app template gallery, so go check it out. So now we're going to go on to the next slide, where I'm going to talk about some of our more business apps. So the first one here is the cash flow forecasting app. So this is our first app in our DataRobot Finance AI app suite. So these are business apps that we've built based off our foundational apps. So this app enables finance teams to predict future cash flow events, like when vendors will pay invoices, in order to make informed decisions about the future, including mitigating payment timing risks, like reducing late payments and days outstanding, as well as cutting borrowing costs. Removing blind spots to detect discrepancies and take proactive action. And then last but not least, optimizing inflows to better manage working capital and dynamically adjust spending. So the app utilizes a seamless integration with SAP ERP and other reporting tools, combined with DataRobot's best-in-class time series modeling capabilities. You can effortlessly connect with SAP systems like SAP S/4HANA, Finance, and Treasury, simplifying data ingestion and ensuring reliable inputs to your models. DataRobot's models can improve forecasting accuracy by reducing errors by up to 50% compared with SAP and NetSuite tools. And like all our apps, this app comes with all the pre-built components needed to securely run in production that can all be customized to your specific needs. Now we're going to dive into the next app, which is our demand planning app. So the demand planning app is part of the DataRobot supply chain and Ops AI app suite. So it's a different type of business app that we're bringing to market. This app helps supply chain and ops teams improve forecast accuracy to align supply with customer demand, allowing ops professionals to optimize their inventory, reduce costs, and improve service levels. So here we're integrating seamlessly with SAP IBP and using that data to power DataRobot's time series forecasting capabilities, all within a pre-built application that can be fully customized to your specific business needs. With this app, your supply chain team will be able to anticipate and react by predicting demand shifts and optimize inventory. They can sort of boost sales as a result. It'll also help them cut costs by having a better idea of what they need and when they need it. And last but not least, customers really do like it when things are on the shelves when they want to buy them, so it'll improve the customer experience. So now we're going to share some of the new app updates that will improve the app experience for users on the next slide. So in addition to our 3 new app templates, we have these new features that will augment all of our custom app experiences. So the first one is AI apps now have automated usage logs. So you and your team will have a detailed lineage of every user of your application, including the email, role, timestamp, and user ID. Now it's very easy to know important information like, are users actually using the app, as well as utilize usage numbers to ensure applications are properly resourced and supported. The second new feature that we have extended is that we've extended system prompts so that they can be manipulated at the application layer. So previously, you'd only be able to adjust the prompt or API setting of a GenAI model when it's being built in our LLM playground. Now you can extend those capabilities to users, giving them a lot more control and flexibility over the app experience. So for example, you could adjust the prompts to maybe a little bit small, but you can see in the example, you can adjust the prompt so that it only gives outputs in German. Or you could tweak the API so that it chunks responses versus streaming them, which can introduce latencies if there's sort of too many guard models that you've deployed. The last new feature that we've added is Node.js and React to our application development frameworks. So developers who are looking to build apps with these tools can go right into development without having to spend time setting up the development environment. It also gives practitioners more ways to build applications for their models. So now we're going to do a quick Q&A, and then we'll dive into the next section.
Okay, terrific. One question we've received, this one is for Ina. For Talk to My Data, can you add a custom data dictionary?
Yeah, so I was just answering that in the chat, but out of the box, you aren't able to customize the data dictionary, but that is something that we are looking into to add into the application layer.
Thank you. All right, we've got another question that came in. I have SQL Server integrated to DataRobot. Is it possible to start talking to SQL tables available in different databases and start asking questions?
I believe you can connect to different data sources and ask questions on them. So I believe I would need to test this out myself, but I believe that you can, as long as you point to the right databases, and it will answer using all of those different sources that it is connected to. But I will verify and then I will answer after the webinar to confirm.
Okay, thank you. All right, we had another question come in, and this is for Colleen. What other app updates are coming in the near future?
Yep. So some awesome ones that are worth highlighting is we are going to be unveiling enhanced monitoring and observability for applications. So these could be apps that you built just a front end for, or if you are creating an application out of the application template experience, which basically will allow you to be able to see things like consumption of resources, memory usage, monitoring, and app performance in one really easily consumable dashboard. Another feature worth calling out is adding support for persistent storage, which will, of course, provide enhanced support for chat history, user settings, caching for LLM analysis, and tool calling.
Thank you. All right, we've got another question that came in. So this person is asking about the app gallery that we were showing a bit earlier. Where can it be found in the platform? Where is it located in the platform?
So if you go to the home page, I believe there's a button right there that says Explore Applications. And you can use that to go directly to the app gallery. So you literally just go to your DataRobot homepage not in NextGen, and you should find it. The specific Explore Application Templates is the button. It's literally right front and center of the page. You can also go to the workbench. And there's a button that says Browse Application Templates right next to Create New Use Case. So those are the two easiest ways to find the Talk to My Data app or any other apps that are in the gallery.
All right, we've got another question. I know this one's for you. How does the Talk to My Data app interface, how is it different than Power BI? We are using Power BI for visualization today.
So for, sorry, I wasn't, this is for Talk to My Data. So there's a couple of things. There's 3 tools explicitly that's built into the template itself. One of them generates it takes the question and the data and it generates a relevant chart. Another tool will generate the SQL code to be able to build that chart outside of the app. And then another one is to generate the insights. So like the top-down answer or the top-level answer that will help to answer your question.
Okay, and I have another one for you. You were popular. What would be the process of creating an agentic workflow on custom apps, in parentheses, chatbots?
I'm not following that question.
Let me read it one more time, see if this helps. What would be the process of creating an agentic workflow on custom apps, chatbots? And if not, we can follow up later.
Yeah. I think depending on the context of that question, if it's in the context of the application templates, the agentic workflow is all built into that template itself. It is a out of the box experience to build out with all of the logic included, including that AI logic and the app logic to get an app up and running for you. They're highly customizable. There is a start from scratch workflow where it would require building everything from scratch, including that agentic or AI logic workflow. But depending on the nature of the question, I think the app template covers that workflow out of the box. And then there's the start from scratch workflow if you already know what you need to do, how to do it using DataRobot.
Terrific. Okay, now we have one. This is for Kathy or Ezra. Is there an upper limit on the size of the data that I can use to train and deploy an LLM in DataRobot?
So I don't think that you can currently train LLMs in DataRobot, but I don't think there is a limit on the size of LLM to deploy in DataRobot. I would please correct me if I'm wrong about this.
Yeah, so there isn't a limit on the kind of the size of the LLM that you're trying to deploy. It depends on what hardware you're trying to run it on. It depends on like what hardware you have available. As far as training, you can use, as we mentioned earlier, you can use something, we can use basically our Covalent integration to train a model, and there isn't really a limit on how much data you can use, but it depends again on what hardware you have available for the training.
Great question.
One thing that I do want to call out, this is with Covalent, we will have fine tuning. There is no data limit, so we do not support training, but it is more of a fine tuning of LLMs.
Okay, awesome. All right, I'm going to ask one more question in this section, and then we're going to move on, but we'll keep answering in the Q&A, and we love the questions, so keep them coming. All right, this one is for Colleen. Can I create a chatbot using a specific library like Streamlit and deploy it in DataRobot?
Yes, you can. And we actually support Streamlit. We have even a foundational app template that basically will set up Streamlit for you so that actually it will accelerate creating a chat app using Streamlit. So we can absolutely do that. Or if you want to customize it further and give it, you know, a React front end or something like that, we also support that. So happy to maybe connect with your account team and give you a live demo or something like that if you're interested, but we absolutely do support that.
All right, now moving on to Spring Platform updates.
Okay, so now May and I are going to talk about some of the new, we've been talking about apps, we've been talking about cool integrations. Now we're going to talk about some of the cool updates to specific platforms. So on the next slide, you can see we've broken this out into 3 categories, develop, deliver, and govern. I'm going to go through develop, and then May is going to take back the reins and go through deliver and govern. So for develop, we're going to talk about some of the sort of exciting unified tooling and greater flexibility and scale on the next slide. And yeah, let's go right into it. So the first cool new thing is we have 2 new features that both aim to give DataRobot customers more flexibility when it comes to working in code spaces and building more powerful models. So the first new feature is a more seamless Git integration in code spaces, particularly when working with external private Git repositories. So this entails one-time setup to authorize DataRobot to your preferred Git provider via auth2. This works for GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, and are all supported. You can also leverage the Git CLI to version your code with external Git repositories when developing in code spaces without having to manually authenticate with credentials every single time. Now all of this is automatically handled by DataRobot. You can also easily create new code spaces from your private Git repositories. And last but not least, you're totally in control. You can revoke authorization at any time if you no longer want DataRobot to be authorized to your Git provider. So right now, we just support the cloud version for Git providers, but on-prem and self-hosted will come soon. The other sort of increased flexibility is around data scale. So I don't know if you joined the customer webinar last year, but incremental learning is now GA. Hooray! This means that you can now access over 10 gigabytes of training data for any predictive problem types, including time-aware use cases. There are also fewer limits on accessing more data. Previously, practitioners were limited to 10 gigabytes of data. Now 100 gigabytes of training data are available to any practitioner via API. Access to 100 gigabytes of data via the GUI will be coming soon. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about how we have expanded our registry. So our registry is expanded with 2 new features that make it easier to manage and work with models that have been developed outside of DataRobot. So the first new feature is that SHAP values and performance charts have been added to the registry. This means that for any of your organization's models developed on DataRobot or externally, you will have single-click visualizations to get feature explainability via SHAP predictions and distributions, as well as performance charts like lift charts, RC charts, residuals, etc. The second update is about execution environments. So first of all, what is an execution environment? As we continue to make custom models even friendlier for code-first users, you now have detailed visibility and control over execution environments for custom model deployments in DataRobot. These environments define where and how your models run, including the software dependencies, library versions, and configurations that ensure compatibility and stability. Now, directly from the model workshop, you can see what version your model is running on, check included libraries, manually up environments, and pin models to specific versions. All changes in history are captured in the registry for full traceability. With this feature, you have control and management over your execution environments. It's easier than ever to manage dependencies, track version history, and update environments without breaking workflows. You can also see libraries and versions your custom models rely on, pin models to specific environments for stability, and seamlessly update execution environments, making sure your deployments remain compatible, accurate, and efficient. All of this info is captured in the registry for easy management in one location. Now, overall, this means fewer surprises, faster debugging, and better management of custom model deployments. So, last but not least, we are going to go on the next slide and talk about some new next-gen workbench migrations. So this release features a number of migrations from our favorite classic features over to next-gen. Not only does this help you unify the next-gen experience with all of your favorite functionality, but it should make your team easier to use all of these features in one place. So I'll speak to the updates to Workbench, and then later May will go into more details about the updates on registry and console. So the first big update is that visual AI has come to Workbench. This means that you can solve computer vision problems like image classification and utilize image augmentation to expand limited image datasets. This is super helpful when building multimodal predictive models when you have only a limited number of images for training data. The next update is that you can now write Wrangler recipes using SQL, allowing you to utilize the power of code to completely control and customize your data transformations outside the limits of what's possible in the GUI experience. Our last major update is that the leaderboard has been expanded. If you have ever wanted more details on why models were ranked, you can now expand the list horizontally to include helpful metrics like cross-validation, validation, and holdout. You can also peruse badges to get more rich detail about prospective models at a glance. So now we're going to jump into another Q&A.
All right. We've got more questions coming in, which is terrific. Mary, I have one for you. What are some predictive updates that practitioners should be aware of in the near future?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we just talked about incremental learning. We've expanded scale to 100 GB. Moving forward, we're going to implement continuous training. So that will essentially unlock unlimited data. So you can, incremental learning allows you to train models in a series where you chunk up your data. Now you can pass as much data through as you like. I think we're also going to be expanding the insights that we support for custom models as well. So, as Rad nicely went through, he showed that we are allowing users to do SHAP and feature impact right now. We're going to be expanding that to a wider variety of use cases.
All right, I've got one more, I think, for you. I'm interested in using Azure repos for Git version control instead of GitHub. Is the integration available?
Yeah, I can answer that. So
Alina.
for Azure repos or Azure DevOps, that's in our plans. We're currently finalizing the roadmap timeline for that. So if you can reach out via your customer support manager to me on the product team, we can follow up with you and collect your requirements there and give you an update once that's finalized.
Thank you. All right, one more question, and we're going to move ahead just in the interest of time. But like I said, we'll keep answering in the Q&A. Ina, I think this is for you. Can Talk to My Data use an agentic RAG workflow? For example, if I need to add more context to the EDW data using images or videos or docs.
Currently, it does not. We are looking to add a new template in the near future that's going to be available in the gallery, which is a Talk to My Docs experience. With that, it will allow this RAG workflow. We'll also be extending it to have some of the Talk to My Data capabilities in there as well.
Thank you. All right, moving on to deliver.
All right. There's Really one big piece of news here, and we can get right into it. AI pipelines are almost here. Now, this should be exciting for all AI teams who need scalable processes, especially for your more complex workflows. So coming shortly after this launch is a new built-in pipelines feature powered by Airflow for you to develop, orchestrate, and monitor all of your AI workflows. This is where you can easily set up pipelines for your model updating, retraining, deployment, data processing, and even more complex tasks. Like, for example, perhaps you want to take unstructured data like visual, audio, text, and you want to catalog it and organize it, basically make it searchable. So then it is ready to be used in RAG, LLM training, or inference for your Gen AI use cases. So from simple workflows to complex workflows, you can orchestrate them all. You can also set up time or event-driven triggers. So that makes your pipelines flexible for more operational scenarios. And with this native integration, you have access to DataRobot's pre-built customizable operators. These are basically code-first templates for various workflow scenarios, or you can build or bring your own DAGs. And finally, you have a secure one-click access to the Airflow interface directly from DataRobot. And that's where you would track your pipeline runs, monitor model performance, and easily integrate additional tasks if you need to, like custom data validation or reporting modules. Let's go right into the demo, Vivek, and see how it works.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is a quick demo of our pipelines feature. So as May mentioned, AI pipelines are code-first pipelines. You can build your AI pipelines, or DAGs as we call them, right in a Python environment in any IDE of your choice. You will see here that we are defining the dependencies. We are defining the DAGs. If we go down, as we go down, we will see the task-dependent tasks being defined. And then the task dependencies are defined here. So once your DAG is defined, it's a set of interconnected tasks. It's very easy. You can just go to the pipeline section, upload your DAG file. And once you upload your DAG file, I've done one for the demo already. You can quickly jump into the DAG itself by opening the Airflow UI. And there you can see all the details of the runs for the DAG. Once you click on the DAG, you will see that how many times that the DAG has run, the various tasks, how it has run, all the details of the DAG. You can also see the lineage of all the tasks for all the interconnected tasks. Here you see that we are just simply creating a data processing pipeline and then using it to run AutoML model and then registering the model. You can also see the Gantt chart of various tasks, how the tasks have run, how long have they taken, and what is the status. You can also see the code here with all the Airflow functionalities. Then you can also see in your connected account all the assets that have been created by the DAG or by the DAG runs. And finally, we are releasing a set of operators as we are releasing it's an Airflow-based solution. We are releasing a set of operators that are atomic DataRobot tasks that you can run in your DAGs with DataRobot. Thank you very much, and we look forward to feedback and usage from you on this feature.
Right, great. We can keep moving on to one more update under Deliver, which is bolt-on governance. Bolt-on governance is now GA. We introduced bolt-on governance last fall, if you remember. It's the ability to bring DataRobot's full governance and observability functionality to any external AI asset, any external LLM, AI apps, with just a few lines of code, regardless of where they're hosted. So a couple updates here. One, this capability is now GA. And two, we have deepened our OpenAI chat API integration. So now LLMs can be passed during inference when deploying from Playground. What does this mean? This means you can generate LLM-specific requests, and that LLMs can be swapped in and out at the time of inference. This is a new level of flexibility, and it makes it easier for you to manage different LLMs and switch between them, especially if you do regularly need to change them. So now you can do that without the need to create a whole new pipeline in the Playground. Okay, let's go into Q&A for this section.
All right, Vivek, I have one for you. what are the different scenarios that AI pipelines can help with? Can you give me some examples?
Sure. So AI pipelines can help with a multitude of AI workload scenarios. Some examples are data reprocessing. So whenever you get data, whenever you want to run data processing at a schedule or with a trigger of event, one of the key use cases that we are trying to solve with AI pipelines is model retraining. So a lot of AI workload scenarios need model retraining based on a schedule or a data event trigger. And finally, one of the other use cases that we aim to solve with this feature is post predictions formatting.
Terrific. All right, we're going to move ahead. Please keep asking your questions. All right, this is on govern.
Last section, governance. Look, AI governance is an area we do take a lot of pride in, with our distinguished offerings like compliance test reports, real-time intervention moderation, and with regulations and the tech changing so quickly, we know you rely on us to help you balance your AI risk management and your AI business value. So the features that I want to talk about next, they sit at this intersection of, business growth and risk management for you. Risk and value tracker with compliance assessment. That's 3 things. So let me break it down, then we can put it back together. You may remember our value tracker from DataRobot Classic. Well, it has moved to next gen now, but with powerful view enhancements. If you're not familiar with value tracker, it basically gives you structured tracking and evaluation of ROI across your projects. It helps you prioritize your, the right use cases, but also explain and justify those investments to your leaders. Now there is a brand new tab for risk tracking. This is where we give you pre-built risk frameworks, including the EU AI Act and NIST, or the flexibility to just configure your own. You can define risk thresholds. You can see suggested risk management tools that we've made available to you. You can document your mitigation strategies and track compliance with audit-ready evidence. So what's happening here is we're eliminating the manual burden of organizing your evidence and proving regulatory adherence. You can go a step further with our compliance assessment accelerator. It has an app where you define a regulatory, ethical, or operational criteria and automatically track adherence with a built-in scoring system. So essentially at one glance, you can see which of your models are compliant, which ones need intervention, and then you can also set up rule-based assessments that proactively validate whether your defined AI policies are being followed and can flag issues if not. So now think of how it all comes together. The value and risk tracker are built in frameworks so you can plan, communicate, and document potential value and risks and mitigation strategies. And then the compliance assessment tool is like an active surveillance system that's flagging your deployments for vulnerabilities and non-compliance. And you are going to see this, but before we go into the demo, I just want to introduce one more feature for geospatial use cases. Last launch, if you remember, we introduced geospatial monitoring for location-based features, and our customers really appreciated the insights they could now unlock from their location data. So we've taken it a step further. You can now make geo predictions, meaning you can set location as a target, and you can even track how it changes over time. So this now unlocks more geospatial use cases like aircraft location, tracking wildfire, looking for emerging crime hotspots. Just being able to predict specific locations with accuracy, just means better response time and better strategic decision making. And in addition to just being able to predict the location, you can also visualize how these predicted locations shift over time and space. You can compare them to actual movement patterns. And because they're visual, they're easy to consume, share, and explain. Now we can go into the product and Kathy can show you both the risk and value tracker and geospatial.
Yes, so we see that now we have the value tracker moved to the next gen experience, and we can see that now we have here the new button risk. And what it gives is that it provides the ability to collect all the risk assessments across your organization. So users can template, find the template, define the risk level based on it. And after this, users can basically define and describe what is risks that this use case can have, like bias, PII, all of this. Describe what is risk management tools, and there are a lot of them in DataRobot and collect the evidence. So then it basically provides ability to have in one place collected evidence for this. And this is also ability to have the compliance assessment that allows to configure the compliance tests and rules that the use case needs to meet and check across organization if the deployments and models really meet them. So you can see here that it has all the list with them. And so like one place to check the quality and compliance of them. One feature that we also have is geospatial monitoring. We added new target type for locations. And here we have all our current information like service health, data drift, all of the things that were available for other data types. But now, in addition to the typical information that we show, we also show new specific to geos. For example, like prediction over time, that you can see how the predictions are moving on the map chart. We also have predictions over space chart that allows to see how the predictions are distributed over different locations to see where they were the most distributed and how they were spread. And for the different features, users can also see what was the drift score distribution across the different locations to see which geo predictions are like drifting more often than others. For the accuracy, we added few more metrics specific for accuracy of the locations. And users can see them in the line view and also in the overspace view to see for which locations their predictions were more accurate and retrain or tune this model to better fit the locations that are less accurate. And users can also compare predicted versus actuals to see if the actuals were really far from the predicted one, and use this information to optimize the model and make it better.
That looks very good. Thank you, Kathy. Before we go into Q&A for this section, I'm just going to take a minute to share next-gen migrations for governance with you. There are a couple of things here. One, we have updated the registry to now include data. So what you knew as AI Catalog is now an integrated part of the registry. It's going to have a dedicated tab called data. So you can now register, version, track your data sets alongside models all in one place. Secondly, retraining entities are also now in NextGen. So you can save, track, update your retraining policies directly within your use cases. So that means your retraining strategies are staying tied to the models that they impact, and it's easier for you to keep them up to date. And lastly, Value Tracker, we already talked about this, but just want to emphasize once again, it's a very simple and effective tool to track, assess, and communicate your use case value. And one of the things that's new here in NextGen is the ability to comment. So you can now leave comments in the Value Tracker. It's just more collaborative, and you're able to add more context and color to the contents of the tracker.
Great, thank you so much. We've got a couple of questions, Kathy, for you. Are geospatial predictions, are they available on-prem?
Yes, they are. They're available both on cloud and on-prem.
Okay. All right, one other one for you as well. Are you going to be adding more built-in risk frameworks to the risk tracker?
Yes, we started with the most common like ACT and NIST RMF, but yes, we will be adding continuously more and more frameworks. And yeah, so basically, if there is anything that is particularly interested, please feel free to let us know. So we'll be adding them.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, just a few minutes to wrap up today. Please do give us your feedback. After this, we'll send you an email with the recording, but also a short survey. It's just a couple questions so we can continue to make these even better. And try out these new features. They're available now in the trial of DataRobot, but you can also contact your CSM or your customer success manager for additional information. The QR code here takes you to the free trial. And please continue to come to these webinars. This is one of our ways to make sure that our customers are updated on what is available and coming out in our releases. And please continue to join us. So thank you so much. And before we wrap up, I think we have one more question and we have a few minutes left. So we're going to go ahead and answer this one. For geospatial, Kathy, I think this is for you. Does DataRobot automatically detect geolocation as a target?
Basically, I would say no, because this is where you bring the models as custom model, external model, and you just will need to tell which feature is the one that you want to the one that will be the target. Just because you might have multiple that will look as location, it might be that you have more than one location feature in your data set. So we still ask you to tell us what is the target, but we already can know that it is location feature and monitor your target and locations for geos.
Fantastic. All right, well, I think we've answered everything. Thank you again so much for being here. Thank you to our PMs and the marketing team, and thank you so much to our customers. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.